Walt Disney World Florida is getting ready to prepare a new land, that being tropical Americas. And while it was suggested that it would be Coco, Encanto, and Indiana Jones, it sounds like one of those is already getting the axe. Let's talk about which one on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is a piranha plant in human form, Mr. VashSky. VashSky, what are you popping up for?
Sorry, I had to sneeze. It's a rare thing, but I couldn't hold it in there. But I was only sneezing, Jonas, because of the absurdity of what I'm hearing here with this story. I know you set it up beautifully, but why does Disney's Animal Kingdom always get the short end of the stick? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
That's a good question, because it is an amazing park, although it is also the hottest park at Walt Disney World Resort, and it is the lowest on my priority list, which is why I'm going to say this. I've never been to Pandora because it's been that long since I've been in the Animal Kingdom park.
I think it's worth visiting at least once, Jonas. You gotta bite the bullet. You gotta go in there. Pandora is absolutely gorgeous, but I don't necessarily blame you because, well, Animal Kingdom, even with Pandora, doesn't necessarily have all that much to offer. Now, we were thinking with this Dino Land USA redo, we were getting some really special stuff, but apparently that might not be the case.
That's true. So we've seen some leaked documents here, and I should have started the video talking about the fact that there is a leak that we're reporting on here. It is leak week here on That Park Place. Bold headlines here. It is leak week. WDW Pro and I got a hold of this documentation, and it was very clear in these documents there was absolutely zero reference to Coco in this land, despite the fact that we've kind of been told that Coco was going to be a part of it. Sometimes it's a little hard when everything is blue sky for so long to get an indication of what has been promised versus what has been hinted at here. But they talked about a land with two great stories, and those two great stories are Indiana Jones and Encanto, which Encanto is great, but it's also not Coco. So it sounds like Coco will not be making it into this retheme as originally speculated or hinted at by Walt Disney Imagineering. It will be a retheme of the entire land, and the edict from above, and this is where we get into the spicy details here. There is an indication that Josh D'Amaro made an order that it cannot look like you just repainted all the buildings, and they need to strike a balance with that. Of course, the comment to strike a balance indicates that the original intent was to just repaint all the buildings. And what would you be striking a balance against, Vash, if that is the comment that's being made?
Well, that's I don't know what balance he'd be striking. Maybe economical balance or financial.
It sounds like this retheme that is already happening and is the closest thing to a new land that they've got advertised right now, or that they are talking about. It's already subject to cost cutting. That might be why Coco is already getting the axe here, because what's the easiest way to reduce cost? To take out a large attraction. I don't know what that attraction would have been if they did have a Coco attraction. Well, let's talk about what we do know, because I do know, based on this documentation, what is going to go into this land. Of course, this is rumor and speculation. Plans can change. There might be another hit movie, and they might decide that they're going to do the entire thing based off of Elio or Inside Out 2. I don't know. I'm making a little joke there, but rumor and speculation, grain of salt. So let's talk about what is coming here. First of all, Indiana Jones will be coming to that land. It will not be the same ride as Anaheim, and I'm assuming in that same way it will not be the same ride as Tokyo Disney either. This one is going to be a Mayan-themed attraction, probably another temple. Just gonna guess it's going to be another temple. And this one will be based off of, I've heard Quetzalcoatl. I've also heard Kukulkan. I'm having some difficulty with the name, but it is a Mayan serpent god, which of course brings to mind the classic Indiana Jones line, snakes. Why does it always have to be snakes? So kind of perfect for Indiana Jones, but that is what will be going into the Indiana Jones ride, otherwise known as what used to be Dinosaur, which of course Dinosaur, Countdown to Extinction, kind of based on the Indiana Jones ride. Anyways, it's the same ride vehicle. It's a very similar track layout, although slightly different. So the guess that it was going to be Indiana Jones that was going into that space, not a crazy guess. And yes, that's where we are now. Before we move on, Vash, to the other rides, do you have any comments there?
Yes, I do. I think it was more or less predictable that they weren't going to go with what had been done before. I mean, at this point, what you're talking 1995 for the original Indiana Jones attraction, and I believe 2001 for the Tokyo version. So we are several generations of Imagineers removed from those things. Obviously, you have a group that wants to tell its own stories in these spaces and with these franchises. You already hinted at the differences between the layouts between what the Anaheim ride system and the enhanced motion vehicle and this one right here. So it makes sense that they would go in a different direction. The Mayan theme sounds similar to what they might have already done in Tokyo, but I'm sure it's going to be its own distinct flavor.
Right, because it's Temple. Is it Temple of the Forbidden Eye? Is that the one out in Anaheim? And Temple of the Crystal Skull. Although it's
Right.
not based off of the Crystal Skull theme, it just happens to be the Crystal Skull is the temple out there. So another ride that will be coming is a new carousel, and this is good. I actually think this is really great that they're doing this. It is an animal themed carousel and is going to be incorporating as many Disney IPs as possible. So it'll be wood. They've hired a wood carver from Bali to do these wood carvings that are themed to different Disney animals, and they're going to make the carousel based around those animal models here. I hope they're not hiring the wood carver for the actual items here. I hope they'll be copying them, because the children riding on these things that have to be carved by hand, that creates a durability issue, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going with kind of more sustainable materials in both senses, actually. So I would not doubt that they may take whatever is being carved and upscale it, let's say. But this actually sounds pretty interesting. This could be a lot of fun if done right, and could be incorporated easily into the rich tapestry that is Disney's Animal Kingdom currently.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Disney needs more rides that aren't e-tickets. That's kind of their Achilles heel right now. They need an e-ticket in order to advertise a land, but they need these smaller attractions that can eat people up without costing an arm and a leg for them to make them. And Disney's kind of gotten away from that in recent years. They need those lesser rides that are just fun. And a carousel is a great way to do that. Now, the other ride, as you might have guessed, is of course in the Encanto area. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. There's a town. It's kind of like something like Esperanza is going to be the name of the town, which will be replacing this Dino Land USA area. The Casita Madrigal, depending on how it's referred to in Encanto, that is going to be the home of a new attraction. And we've heard that the ride in that it'll be the story of like the day after maybe the events of Encanto, when everyone is coming over after for leftovers. That's a good way to put it. One of the kids in the movie gets a power, and his superpower, because they all get special gifts. His superpower is that he can talk to animals. His other superpower is that his room is ridiculously massive. And so the ride, if I'm understanding this correctly, will take place in the casita, and the casita, which is kind of a character into itself, will take you into that room, and there'll be some kind of adventure that happens within that child's room. And I want to say it's going to be something along the lines of a Mystic Manor at Hong Kong Disney, which is, of course, Mystic Manor. Vash is based on another ride that is not out at Hong Kong. Can you give some brief history there, Vash?
Yeah, it's very interesting because that was looked at as the Adventureland Haunted Mansion, or at least that's what the internal name for that project was. And it was about, okay, well, we can't use spirits in China, so how do we bring a ride in the vein of Haunted Mansion to Hong Kong? And so that's where the Mystic Manor portion of it comes through right there. It's also a wireless free moving ride system right there, which has been a little problematic in the past. I want to go ahead and put that out there right now. It hasn't always been the most reliable ride system. However, if leveraged properly, can be very, very magical.
The other aspect of Coco is not necessary. It's set in Mexico. So whether or not Mexico is considered tropical Americas is of course a matter of debate. I don't necessarily consider Mexico to be a tropical country. Although maybe some of our friends can help us understand if maybe the more southern areas in Mexico are considered tropical. I don't know. But of course, we want to throw this to our commenters down below. What do you think about this leak as we continue Leak Week here on That Part Place? Is this something that you would be excited for? I think there are things to be excited for in this land. Or were you looking forward to that Coco attraction? I do hear that they are going to be doing something with Coco somewhere, but it is not in this land at this time. And it may be something that they already have at the park in some way that might be rethemed to Coco. So let's just say that right now. But that being said, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Part Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.